Hello, Tri-Deltas, and welcome to Let's Talk Tri-Delta podcast. My name is Meredith Davies, Tri-Delta's Philanthropy Specialist, and today I am here with a new Tri-Delta graduate, Riley Damiano. She is a graduate of our Delta Psi chapter at Rhodes College, also in Memphis, Tennessee, where Rhodes is St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Riley has done a lot of really cool stuff in her collegiate experience, and I don't want to spoil anything we're going to talk about, but that is your hint. So I am thrilled, honored, grateful, and just so excited to welcome Riley to the podcast today. Riley began her advocacy for cancer at the young age of 12, and soon she'll be heading to the Netherlands on a Fulbright research grant. How crazy. So cool. She is so accomplished, and she is just graduated from college. I'm so excited to talk to her today. So please welcome Riley. Riley, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, of course. Hi, everyone. As Meredith mentioned, my name is Riley Damiano, and I just graduated from Rhodes this May, and I'm a proud member of Pledge Class 2021 at Rhodes on the Delta Psi chapter. I had the privilege of, in addition to working with St. Jude as a philanthropy of Tri-Delta nationally, also had the opportunity to work there in their Department of Psychology and Biobehavioral Sciences for about 2.5 years. So that really gave me the opportunity to not only get to work with St. Jude in my capacity as a Tri-Delta, but also get to firsthand see the incredible work that they're doing there.
I mean, come on. Like every time I hear Riley speak, and she is just the coolest. She's doing such amazing work, makes me feel like I have accomplished nothing. And I love that for her. So what you should know about Riley and I is that we're members of the same chapter. We are Rhodes Tri-Delta sisters, and we sort of have this weird, not weird, because invisible strings are not weird, but we have an invisible string kind of connection that keeps bringing us back together. So my senior year, I recruited Maggie. Maggie is your big, is that right, Riley?
Yes, she is.
Tell us about Maggie.
I adore Maggie. Maggie is one of, I remember as a member of Pledge Class 2021, our recruitment was entirely virtual, and we hadn't gone to campus yet. We have spring recruitment, so I hadn't met anyone in person yet, including Maggie, but I had gotten to know Maggie through our student government and really just admired her as a person, and honestly decided to go through recruitment because she talks so positively about the Pan-Hellenic community. And I remember going through recruitment, falling in love with Tri-Delta more generally, but then on preference night, just getting to talk to Maggie and hear her why Tri-Delta really solidified the decision for me that Tri-Delta was the right place.
Love her. Shoot. So that was the coolest thing when I found out that Maggie and Riley connected. I was like, okay, Riley is someone I need to know. Then 2 years later, I'm on staff at Tri-Delta, and I run into Riley at Tri-Delta Celebration at St. Jude. She's attending the event as a member of the Delta Psi chapter, and that was the first time we met. Then another 2 years pass, and about a month and a half ago, I'm on a St. Jude campus tour, standing in front of the Danish Thomas bust in the research center, and Riley walks by, and I'm with Sam, our digital communications specialist. And I'm like, Sam, you have to meet Riley. And I stopped her in the hall, and we all reconnected. And that's how we got Riley to join us on the podcast. And I mean, so many just invisible strings coming together to get us here today.
Nice coincidence, especially being in front of that Danny Thomas bust. Just the tradition that goes along with that bust, and you're supposed to go up to it and rub its nose for good luck. And I know throughout my undergraduate career while working at St. Jude, I went there all the time, and just knowing that like in this like really gorgeous space inside of St. Jude, like just happening upon one another, like a really beautiful coincidence, to be completely honest.
So cool. The best. So I was just so excited that you agreed to join us on the podcast to share, all the wonderful things about you. So let's jump into some questions. So I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast that you have been working in cancer advocacy since you were 12 years old. So you have been supporting this for a long time, over a decade now. So can you share with me how your journey started and how you started a fundraising initiative for a child you knew who was battling cancer?
Yeah, of course. So pediatric cancer is one of those things that pediatric cancer research and finding better options for treatment is something that's been really important to me for quite a long time now, as you mentioned, now a little bit over a decade. And it all kind of came about because there was a little boy in my town. His name was Ty Lewis Campbell, and he was battling brain cancer. He was just under 3 years old when he was diagnosed. And I was 9 at the time, and I remember his mom would write these daily blog updates about how he was doing. And as a child myself, I couldn't fully understand how cancer was something that a child was being put through. But one of the things that brought Ty a lot of joy was blue lollipops. So I remember as a child myself, I also really enjoyed the fact that like when you ate a blue lollipop, it made your whole face blue and just like the simple joy of that. And it was a small connection, even though I never met him in person. And unfortunately, he passed away when he was just 5 years old. And I continued to have this feeling of I don't not being able to comprehend how this was something that a child was being faced with, not only the cancer but the treatments having such horrific and awful side effects and being so outdated. And I had this sense that I wanted to do something. So I decided to start this initiative called the Blue Lollipop Project under the Ty Lewis Campbell Foundation, which is run by his parents. And it really, over the past decade, has just been the start of a really long path of ways that I've become more and more passionate about working with pediatric cancer patients and families impacted by pediatric cancer, which ultimately led me to where I am today and was a really big part of me deciding to go to college in Memphis and join Tri Delta, especially being the philanthropy at St. Jude.
Riley, that story just always blows me away with, you were so young and could still, you found your way to get involved and you made it childlike. And, that's one of the things I love about St. Jude is their, focus on an emphasis on making cancer treatment better and letting kids be kids. And you knew that even at a young age, and here you are continuing to do that work. So tell me a little bit about the work that you're doing at St. Jude, or the work you were doing in your time at St. Jude, and how that connected to your Memphis experience.
Yeah, of course. So I mentioned that I worked in the Department of Psychology and Biobehavioral Sciences. For a really long time, I thought I wanted to go directly into finding better treatment options for kids with cancer. But something that I realized about myself is that I really, not only am I interested in increasing survival and promoting better outcomes for kids with cancer, but also making sure that kids with cancer aren't only able to survive, but are able to thrive after their treatment is over, which really led me to this neuropsychology lens. So my research at St. Jude under Dr. Lisa Jacola was looking at how children with leukemia, their cognitive outcomes, as well as thinking about children who are diagnosed with cancer under the age of 3 years old, and really just thinking about that early developmental period and how not only the cancer, not only the treatment, but also being in the hospital, being away from home, the socioeconomic factors, how are all of these things contributing to the cognitive, developmental, social, behavioral outcomes that we're seeing in these kids, and how can we intervene to promote healthier, better outcomes for them?
Yeah, I love that. Growing up, I definitely didn't feel like I knew. I thought you were a child with cancer, you were saved, and then everything was fine and everything went back to normal. And honestly, it wasn't until I got to know our other Rhodes Tri Delta sister, Emily Hines, that I
Yes.
learned that that was not the case. And my view on childhood cancer changed completely. And now I feel like I understand better. Obviously, there are still cancers out there that need to be cured, but it's not just curing the cancer. It's, creating a better, healthier, happier life for former patients and survivors. And I love that.
100%. And Emily's actually my grandpig. So,
Of course she is.
yes, I adore Emily as well. And her story and just talking with her about her perspective was really amazing to have that input.
Yes, I think there's something special about all Tri Delta chapters, but I think there is something uniquely special, uniquely different about Rhodes Tri Delta and the experience that we get to have with St. Jude, and that deep connection we have with the hospital. I was a member mostly prior to COVID, where we were going to campus and we went to Tri Delta Place, we went to Target House, and we visited with patients, and we were on campus every year. And we felt that impact as students, knowing patients who were students at Rhodes or just in the community, and then even more so as Tri Deltas. So I know you mentioned feeling that same way. Can you tell me more about how St. Jude and Tri Delta connect for you?
Yeah, of course. So I felt really lucky, especially in the aftermath of the height of COVID, to be able to have that really direct link between what we were fundraising for as Tri Deltas and getting to see it firsthand. I think about the fact that the building I worked in at St. Jude directly overlooked the Tri Delta house, and just being able to see families going in and out of there and really realizing that, like, this is actually some, like, our money is going to something that has this measurable and direct impact. And then also being able to walk through the hospital and just see how comprehensive of care it is, and knowing that these families in such a difficult part of their life aren't only getting help with the treatment being covered financially, but also really making sure that housing and transportation and food and all these things are able to be covered. And I think it's something that's unlike any other hospital I'm familiar with. And I felt a sense of pride going to work at St. Jude, just knowing that for the very small piece of it that I played a role in, my Tri Delta sisters nationally were able to have this impact and able to contribute to this incredible place.
Yeah, and how special that you were looking at Tri Delta Place, seeing patients enter every single day. And we learned recently that it is thousands upon thousands of families that enter that building every single year, and there are patients who don't ever want to stay anywhere else. They just want to stay in Tri Delta Place, and it really does make that partnership super tangible for our members. Obviously, we're funding everything St. Jude does, but it makes it feel really special to have that space with our name on it on campus. So,
and it's gorgeous in there. I mean, on my last day of work, I had never had the opportunity, just by a sense of, like, I just hadn't physically gone in the space, and I decided on my last day at St. Jude in Memphis, I was going to walk in. In the past, it's not like I wasn't allowed to go in, but I just hadn't gone in. So that last day I walked in, and the woman at the front desk says, "How can I help you? Why are you here?" I said, "Oh, I'm a member of our local Tri Delta chapter, and it's my last day working here at St. Jude in person, and I just wanted to see the space." And I remember on the wall from the Tri Delta St. Jude celebration the year before, it has the top fundraising chapters. And I remember seeing Rhodes College listed on there, and it just was this moment of, like, wow, like, and it's this absolutely gorgeous space. And it really just made everything, especially being my last day at St. Jude on campus there, that much more meaningful, and feeling like kind of a sense of closure in my time there.
It's beautiful. Wow. I'm so glad you went inside. I'm glad you just said, you know what, I'm going to go and I'm going to see it. For those of you who aren't familiar with what Tri Delta Place is on the St. Jude campus, it is a short-term housing facility for patient families. When they first arrive at St. Jude, that is generally the first place they go. It's a hotel style living environment. They serve breakfast in the building. It's sort of like a hotel in the lobby, like what you'd imagine you'd see, where, like, there's the complimentary breakfast area, and there's these big plaques on the walls with our top fundraising chapters. There's a mirror with all of the chapter names on it. There's facts about our partnership in the building, and I've only been inside I think twice. And the first time was when I was in college, and I didn't know walking out that it was going to take 4 years for me to get back inside because of COVID. But every time I go inside, every time I'm on campus, but especially every time I'm inside that building, just chills, goosebumps. It is really a powerful space.
Do you have any favorite memories from volunteering there? Did you get to volunteer at the Tri Delta House a lot when you were in college?
So I volunteered there once. Most of what we did was at Target House, but the one that's really close to Rhodes.
Yes.
But we did go there one time. We always would do a craft, and that craft, it was around, I guess, Dr. Seuss's birthday. So we were drawing or like coloring in Cat in the Hat and stuff like that. But we had done all kinds of different projects, and like cut out a polar bear, and then we'll put cotton balls all over it. And I remember the first time I went, it was my freshman year. We used to have signups, like 10 spots, and it would go live in the Facebook group, and everybody would be like, oh my gosh, okay, gotta get my spot as quickly as I can. And I got a spot, and I was talking to my roommate before I went, and I was like, and she was pre-med. I was like, I feel like I need to mentally prepare myself to go to this hospital. And she was like, yeah, I think you probably do. I think it's going to be sad. I think it's going to be really hard. And I was like, okay, yeah, you're probably right. And I got back and I was like, it wasn't sad at all. It was wonderful. It was empowering, and these patients were happy, and I met siblings, and it was the best. And then anytime one of those came up, people probably thought I was so annoying. I was on every single one of those. I could go, I was there. So I feel very grateful that we were able to do that.
Yeah, I got to volunteer twice at the Target House. Once was for Halloween. And I remember just getting to being like, as a college student myself, many of these patients, I was only 2, 3 years older than. So really getting to have conversations as well, just like as peers and as like someone they're close to their own age, and just like catching up on like the latest pop culture stuff, and really just being able to like have those conversations as well. And of course, at the Halloween one, I was running the lollipop pumpkin patch, so getting to see the kids run, the little kids run around and pick lollipops out of the pumpkins, just is so fun and so adorable. And just seeing like the sense of community at those housing places as well.
Yeah, it's just such a special place. Okay, so we talked about our favorite memories at St. Jude, favorite Tri Delta St. Jude memory, a philanthropy event you did, something you loved at Rhodes.
Ooh, that would probably have to be Tri-Hop. I love Tri-Hop. I for the first we only had 3 years of it because you get recruited in the spring. And I remember my first year when I was a sophomore, we decided to make it like rollerblading themed, like kind of like disco-y theme. It was very, no one actually ended up bringing rollerblades.
Okay.
There was a conversation about that. I don't think the refectory was a fan of us rollerblading through our dining hall, the rat. But I just remember I was in charge of the toppings that year, and we did the Tri Delta special, which was all the toppings. And the number of people that were ordering the Tri Delta special, we were like, oh my goodness, we're gonna run out of strawberries. And just the sense of like this like very quick moving, I don't know, it was really fun. And then this past year we did a pancake eating contest where all the fraternities got to nominate a member to who could eat the most pancakes. I think it was in 2 minutes. And one of the fraternities, their member ate something like 18 pancakes in 2 minutes. And you just see me in the background of the video they took, just like
I've seen that video actually.
Slack. Like he was just folding them and stuffing them in his mouth, and just like it's those types of memories that are like, okay, this is everyone at school comes to this. It isn't just the Tri-Deltas or just the Pan-Hellenic community or even just the Greek community in general. Like everyone comes to it and was cheering around that table and coming to this event. So yeah, I always love Tri-Hop.
Yeah, Tri-Hop at Rhodes is really cool. Rhodes is a small school, like 2,000 students. We have one dining hall, the rat, as Riley said. It does actually have a little rat statue outside of it. And I don't know if it's still the same, but when I was in school, the chefs and cooks at the Rat, they made all the pancakes for us, and not anymore.
We make the pancakes. So it's like days in advance that we're cooking like thousands of pancakes, which is also an adventure of its own. We always blow like at least one fuse in the house.
Oh yeah.
So it's expected at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. We would pre-make some. So I am familiar with I was sitting on the floor with my griddle, flipping pancakes in the house, in the living room. Yes. But then literally everybody showed up. Every member of a Greek organization, people on every single sports team, faculty, staff, their kids.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It is such a special, Memphis is a special place to support St. Jude. It's a special place to be a Tri Delta. And it was moments like that where I just felt really supported in the work that we were doing, and it felt like everyone believed in the mission of St. Jude and the work that we were putting into it. And it was always just so fun. Loved Tri-Hop. Yes. Speaking of fundraising, can you believe what's happening right now? Can you believe that we have just raised $100 million for St. Jude in 25 years?
It's amazing. I mean, when I heard the news, I didn't have any doubt that we would be able to do it, because I mean, we're Tri Delta. Of course we're going to meet our goal. But I think that actually hearing that we met the goal was just a whole new level of like, wow, this sense of achievement that we collectively, as this organization, we did this. Like, even if your chapter only raised a couple $1,000s or $10,000 or whatever it is, like, it all adds up, which it makes such an impact. And I'm thrilled that we met the goal.
Yeah, it is. I mean, absolutely incredible. We are just, for the most part, women under the age of 23 doing so much of this fundraising work, and our alumni supporting as well. But it is all you all. It is not somebody writing a big check to St. Jude. It is our members flipping pancakes, writing sincerely yours letters, doing walk runs. And we're saving lives, truly saving lives. And that is so cool. And I know that you had talked about a unique way that you were able to help some students at Rhodes find a way to give back to St. Jude a little differently. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, of course. So early this year, St. Jude had put out this announcement that they were running low on blood donations. And they put out this infographic saying something to the effect of, for every whole blood donation that they have to purchase outside of St. Jude, as in not donated directly to St. Jude, it costs about $250. And for every platelet donation, it costs somewhere between $500 and $750. And that's a lot of money. And it kind of hit me that, like, okay, we're college students. A lot of us don't just have $250 sitting in our back pocket that we can just like hand to St. Jude and say, go get a bag of blood to save a child's life, quite literally. But we do have the ability, we are the prime age and prime demographic to be donating this blood. So I talked about it a lot with the other women in my chapter to think about, like, hey, why don't we go and donate blood? Like, yeah, maybe I can't donate $250 right here, right now, but I can take less than an hour out of my day and go and donate blood, and quite literally know that my blood is going to be something that, and it sounds really grandiose, but like quite literally is going to save someone's life. So I remember, being that I was able to work at St. Jude, I was able to kind of facilitate this. You don't have to work at St. Jude to donate blood there, but I was able to carpool and just see my sorority sisters. And then it went outside of that, and we had people just from the Rhodes community in general going and donating blood. It was really great to be able to make that connection and go up to the people at the donation center and say, like, hey, like, we're from the local Tri Delta chapter, and like, we genuinely care and want to make this difference. And for those of you out there who don't live in the Memphis area, like, donating blood just generally is such an important way to help your local hospital, whether it's a children's hospital or otherwise.
Riley, I spend a lot of time trying to help our members find their why in philanthropy, whether that's with St. Jude, Tri Delta's Foundation, whatever it is, but just working on that, what's your story? How do you, obviously, we want to save every child from childhood cancer, but like what is your special connection? And I think the experience that you gave people in donating blood, knowing that that was literally saving a child's life, you helped people find their why in supporting St. Jude. And that is so meaningful for so many people. Like you help them find their personal connection, a shared experience. These are things that really matter and really are saving lives. And I just think you've just done so many cool things, and I'm just so proud of you and everything you've done. So you graduated. How was that?
It was surreal. I mean, we didn't get a real high school graduation, so we get to walk across the seal for the first time at Rhodes. There's a seal that you don't walk across until you graduate. And I think it really just hit me like, wow, like we made it. It was a tough 4 years. I mean, our first semester of college wasn't in person. We were at home. But we made it and we're here. And now I miss my friends dearly, and I keep in contact with them on almost a daily basis. But being able to think of like what's ahead just like gives me so much hope and excitement, and there's so much possibility.
Yeah. Riley, I graduated during COVID also, but I graduated from Rhodes during COVID. They sent us a box in the mail with like a little graduation box, and it had a seal on a piece of paper that you could walk across. And I took all my COVID anger out on that thing. I jumped on top of it, ripped in half, and eventually I walked across the seal, I think like a year later. But yeah, I was like, this is terrible. So I can relate to not having a graduation. So you graduated, you're at home right now. There's a bear in your yard right now.
Yeah. The pleasures of living in rural-ish New York. Yeah, apparently there's currently a mama bear and 4 cubs in my backyard. So
that's crazy. That is crazy.
It's just that type of day.
I didn't know that you were a Memphis transplant like me. I came from New Jersey. How did you find yourself at Rhodes?
I mean, it's St. Jude. Like, to be completely honest, I cared a lot about pediatric cancer research. I said, where is a school that I wanted a school that was small in a city, had a good sense of community, but I also wanted a school that had good access to a children's hospital where I could do research. And I remember just thinking like, oh, like, let's look up what colleges are near St. Jude. Like, that's like the top tier pediatric cancer hospital. Like, maybe there's a college near there. And then I found Rhodes and I fell in love. Like, Rhodes was the perfect place for me. Yeah. Just the sense of community there, and the small community, but in that big city with so much possibility. I wouldn't have chosen to go elsewhere.
I love it. Riley really is Miss Rhodes. Like, I feel like I saw you on the Rhodes Instagram. You were in the graduation post, weren't you?
I think so. I don't know.
I think you were. She's a star. She's famous. She's ours. So, okay, now what? What's coming up? What's on the horizon for you?
Yeah, so I am headed out this August to the Netherlands as part of a Fulbright, to go do neuropsychology research at Princess Maxima Center for Pediatric Oncology. So continuing with this passion for pediatric oncology research. The Netherlands has the largest pediatric cancer research center in all of Europe. So that's what drew me to apply there for the Fulbright. And never in a million years did I think it would actually come to fruition and that I would win the Fulbright. But here I am, and I'm beyond excited, not only to get to do this incredible research, but also get to study abroad, as that's something I didn't get the chance to do in college. So yeah, I am so excited to get to continue working on neuropsychology research, in this case to support kids with brain tumors and thinking about their cognitive outcomes when it comes to treatment, what other factors and variables are involved in predicting per se their cognitive outcomes. Yeah, it's continuing with this really meaningful journey, and I can trace it all back. It all ties together to this original connection to this little boy named Ty, and then to St. Jude, and then to Tridelta, and now taking that passion to the Netherlands. I'm very excited.
Wow. Yeah. Talk about an invisible string. This connected everything in your life, and you are doing, work that really matters. And
thank you.
I'm very proud of you.
I like to say it's all for Ty. I always use the hashtag all for Ty, because even though I never met him, it's really, he had ATRT, a type of really aggressive brain cancer. And just thinking about like how this little boy who I never met has really helped drive my life's purpose and my passion.
Yeah, what an amazing why. And I mean, so incredible that you continue to honor him in everything that you do. And, hopefully we get to a point where children who get that same cancer will be cured. And that's what we all have to just keep striving for. And one day we'll get there. One day it won't be 4 and 5. One day we'll get to the day that it's 9 and 10. And, I hear so much about St. Jude Global, and here you are going out into the world to do global work. And I just think it's all so wonderful. But you said you never got to study abroad. So what else are you excited to do in the Netherlands besides cancer research, which is, really important? Yeah. But tell me the fun stuff.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I've been making, with the cohort of Fulbrighters I'm going with, we have a whole shared list of things we're going to go do. Things like skating on the canals. Not sure how that one's going to go. Anyone who knows me personally knows I am very clumsy. At one point, one of my Tridelta sisters, I was actually going ice skating, and she was like, let's bet on how long it takes you to fall on the ice, in a very loving way. But she was so right. I fell within the first 5 minutes. We're going to go see the tulip fields. I mean, it's also just, it's Europe, so everything's so close to one another. I mean, a train from Amsterdam to Paris is 3 hours. So I plan to see as much as I can and really just like immerse myself there as like someone living there, rather than just like going as a tourist.
That's awesome. Riley, we are just so excited for everything that you have on the horizon. We're so grateful for everything you've already done. So grateful to have you as a sister. Where can we keep following along on your journey to the Netherlands?
Yeah, of course. So you can follow me. I have an Instagram that I've created for my time abroad. It's Riley's.Dutch Adventures. I think Riley's.Dutch Adventures.
I'll find it.
Yeah, it's me, So I'm so excited to kind of like use that account to really share the things that mean the most to me while I'm abroad, and also just have a place to kind of like journal and scrapbook my time while I'm there.
I love it. Riley, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been such a pleasure to talk with you.
Right. We just are so proud of everything that you're doing, and I am so looking forward to continuing to follow your journey. I feel like I've been watching you on social media for like 5 years almost. Well, 4 years. And I just can't wait to see all the wonderful things you do in the Netherlands and then beyond. I know that you are going to save lives and make lives better. And I can tell that you're a wonderful friend and a great Tridelta. So thank you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. So everyone, keep an eye out for what's next with St. Jude. We might have another announcement coming at convention, so be on the lookout for that. Please, as always, like, subscribe, and rate our podcast. We love 5-star ratings. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, Delta Love.